What up, is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads, and I was almost completely right about the Tampa Bay Dallas game. So we're going to go through and review that game. Then we're going to be going through the Ravens situation, which is a mess. And then tomorrow I'll do the review of preview of every single game. So hey, if you listen to me, you probably won some money too when it comes into FanDuel. I know I did. It wasn't much, but hey, I think I put in like 10, 15 bucks, won like 30 bucks. Like, hey, that's not bad. It's a couple hours of work for some people. So, anyways, let's go through Tampa Bay. And if you listened to me before, I think it was yesterday I put the video out. Yesterday. I said Tom Brady and Dak Prescott were gonna have games. And that was kind of an the easiest of the calls. There was harder calls that I did kind of predict through there, but Tom Brady, 379, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dak Prescott, 403, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Both excellent fantasy days. They're going to be in the top 10 in fantasy, most likely, probably even close into that kind of like 5-6 range. And that's pretty much what I said. They were going to have really good games. Now, for Zeke Elliott, why do I say Zeke Elliott? We call him Zeke. Ezekiel Elliott. There we go. 11 for 33. And if you listened to yesterday, I said that he was going to have a really bad game. Tampa Bay is one of the most scary football teams when it's against the rush. Them, the Colts, Pittsburgh, 3 teams that are really difficult against the rush. So Zeke was definitely this is a buy low situation. Take a running back, a mediocre running back, add a first, James Conner, plus a first, throw it at the Zeke owner, see what you want in Dynasty. If you're in redraft, this is the time to start buying now, because, I mean, he was so close to a touchdown. If Schultz knows how to block, I believe it's Schultz. It was either Schultz or Jarwin. It was a tight end. That's all I was paying attention to. And Zeke usually breaks that tackle. There's 2 situations happen there. And we're talking about a guy who gets 10 points. Plus, he had a couple catches, or a couple targets in the passing game as well. So you're looking at a guy, if he doesn't step out of bounds at like the 2-yard line, I mean, he had a chance to dive into the end zone there. So you're talking about still going to have a lot of touchdown upside here. 33. This will probably be his worst game of the year. That's my prediction. My prediction is worst game of the year. Let's look at Pollard, 3 for 14. Some people were like, oh my goodness, Pollard looked better than Zeke. And I didn't see that. I saw that Pollard was used more in the passing game, which is what I kind of thought was going to happen with Dallas. Like I said, this is a buy Zeke moment now. I'm going to be throwing offers all day. If you're in our Dynasty Dads League, whoever has Zeke, probably going to be throwing an offer. All right, let's go through the rest of the Dallas crew, and then we'll go through the Ravens running backs. Amari Cooper, 16 targets, 13 catches, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. I said him and Lamb are going to have amazing games. Lamb had, 104 yards and a touchdown. Just incredibly, they both were targeted. He had 15. Cooper had 16. I'm out of breath a little bit because I just went for a run. So, minus that whole situation. But these two guys, and Gallup, who had 4 catches for 36 yards, had a little injury, so a little tweak. So we have some issues potentially going on there where Lamb and Cooper are going to be the 1-2, and it's going to be a 1A and 1B, and they're both going to be, they're going to have the problem that they're going to have, not the problem Tampa Bay is going to have, and I'll talk to you about what that problem is going to be. Dalton Schultz, 6 catches for 40, I can't even read my handwriting, 65 yards, 45 yards, 40-something yards, 40, it doesn't matter too much because I think Jarwin and Schultz are just going to eat into each other, and it's just going to be, you got to hope, I don't like to say hope for injury, you just have to hope one, I guess, really outplays the other one, because right now it's not happening, because I saw Jarwin in there a bunch, I saw Schultz in there a bunch, so they really kind of split it up. All right, for Tampa Bay, and the only hit that I probably didn't have, and it wasn't because I was necessarily wrong about the target share or even about the touches. It was Leonard Fournette. He had 9 for 32, so not great. But he also had 7 targets for 5 catches and 27 yards. 14 touches. You could say 16, I guess, maybe not attempts, but combined attempts and targets, rushes and targets. If you say that, and he was in the red zone multiple times, you could probably say, wow, Fournette probably could run into the end zone here. But I think Gronk kind of stole that from Evans and Fournette. And you're going to have games with Tampa Bay where we're going to talk about the Evans situation. But that's another person that I did say he was going to be third. He was going to be the 3rd most targeted in this game. And he was going to start off slow. And I said that, and it was yesterday. But hey, I'm not going to have all these right. So I got to gloat when I can. Antonio Brown. So I did say Godwin and Antonio Brown. I did say Godwin was going to be the better wide receiver. He had more targets. He had 14 targets, and Antonio Brown had 7. It is what it is. Antonio Brown had 121 yards. Godwin had 105 and a touchdown. So technically Godwin had a worse game, but more targets. And he easily could have had a second touchdown, but he fumbled it. And he dropped like a 50-yard bomb. So, you know what? I'm going to say that's pretty close to being right. Pretty close. Gronk had 8 catches on 8 targets for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. And this is going to be you're going to see a game, probably 2-3 more games like this, where he's going to have a majority of his touchdowns. These are going to go to Fournette. These are going to go to Mike Evans. Don't overpay for Gronkowski. It's nice to see. It's really nice to see that he was involved in the offense. I could see more games where he has 50, 60 yards. At this point, I do think he will finish as a top 10 tight end, but I don't think he's going to be a top 5 tight end. I think that's not going to happen. Fournette, we went through his targets. Evans, 6 targets, 3 catches for 24 yards. So you look at that and you go, wow, 5.4 points in PPR. This is going to be the biggest issue. You're going to have games where Evans is going to be bad. You're going to have games where Godwin's going to be bad. You're going to have games where Brown's going to be bad. And so it's Evans today. And if you're panicking on Evans, I am immediately buying Evans, because this is a situation where it's just, you're going to have this kind of revolving wheel. And so that's what's going to happen. So Evans had a bad day today, but this is another buy low situation. Buying Zeke, buying Evans. We panic too much. And even if week 2 happens and they still perform under what we want, I'm still buying on these players. They're still in prime. Evans 28, Zeke 26. You're in prime age time. They're not over the hill yet. So if you can buy them for cheap because people are starting to panic, they see the cliff, then buy him from him. All right, so let's go through the Ravens running back situation. Jeez. I was actually adjusting. So I'm a chiropractor, and one of the big things is I actually had a patient go, hey, did you know Gus Edwards, or he was on his fantasy thing, and I was like, hey, I see you're on fantasy. He's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to find a replacement for Gus Edwards. And I was like, what's happened to Gus Edwards? And this is just this is what happens with work. I just sometimes don't get the updates right away. But he's like, oh yeah, Gus Edwards tore his ACL, or they think he tore his ACL. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that changes things. So Gus Edwards tore his ACL. Marcus Peters also tore his ACL. They signed every old running back besides Todd Gurley. So you have Bell, you have Latavius Murray, you have Tyson Williams, who's already there, and then you have Devontae Freeman in the practice squad. Of anybody that I don't want is Devontae Freeman. I think he's the last of the 4. But who do I want right now? In short term, Tyson Williams. I think he's the one that's going to be involved in the offense the most in week 1, week 2. Who do I want in the long run, though? It's between Le'Veon Bell and Latavius Murray. I'm just going to go with the running back that I think has looked better the last 2 years, and that's going to be Latavius Murray. Yes, Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray has looked actually pretty good. He has just been on a team that has had one of the best running backs, Alvin Kamara. And so I'm going to go with Latavius Murray. Yes, Latavius L-Train Murray. I'm going to say that he is going to be the starting running back for the majority of the second half of the season, maybe eased into the season. I think he's just the best running back. If you're going to go opportunity, if you want the full home run, the James Robinson home run, Tyson is your guy, because he's going to get the opportunity right away. And if he ends up being this undrafted gem for a year, then Tyson is your guy. But you have to understand, in Dynasty, it's 1 year because Gus should be back, JK should be back. It should be fine. But I think ultimately I'm staying just away from this backfield. If I acquire any of these players, I'm trying to trade them. Just because right now everyone's like, Le'Veon Bell. Oh, Latavius Murray. Oh, Tyson. Right now, I think I'm just going to try to trade some of these assets away and just try to get anything in return. Because I just think right now you're just going to see this mess. And you're going to have a backfield that's probably not valuable. And it's going to be Lamar. It's going to be Lamar. And if anything, Lamar's probably moving on up because he's just going to be running a ton. I just hope he doesn't get hurt with all this extra usage. So, in the order, Tyson for short term, Latavius, Le'Veon, and Devontae. All right? And then Todd Gurley. Because Todd Gurley's probably next. I mean, honestly, he probably is. Anybody else out there? Adrian Peterson? Adrian Peterson would probably actually be above Todd Gurley at this point. That's sad. That is really sad. That's a fall far from grace for Todd Gurley. All right? I will see you tomorrow when I go through every single matchup. Peace out. Take care. Subscribe if you want to keep updated.